Alright, this is a video for 3VT about the next paragraph, 6.3, sines and slopes. I want to tell you what the sine is. Well, you can read this story if you'd like, but I don't like the words they use over here. I'm going to tell you some other words that make it, in my opinion, a bit easier. Because over here, you already learned that the tangent is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. Well, the sine is just a different calculation, but you do the same thing. But now you do the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Because if you take a look at the calculator, you might notice that there are three buttons here: sine, cosine, and tangent. This is short for tangent. This is short for sine, so with an E behind it. This is short for the cosine. That means like it's a sort of a sine, but like the other way around. You're going to learn about this cos button in later. Now you learned this one already, and now I'm going to tell you about the sine button. So what you have to do is, the same as with the tangent button, you just use two different sides. If you take a look at a couple of the exercises, like over here, right? If you want to calculate angle A, then earlier we used this side and that side, because this is the opposite side and this is the adjacent side. And you can put it in the tangent, and then you have the angle. Well, now, if you know the hypotenuse, there are two things you can do. You can either calculate this side first with the Pythagorean theorem, or you can just use the sine button. Because if I want to calculate angle A now, and that's also exercise 35, it says calculate A, B, and C. If I want to calculate angle A, then instead of the tangent button, I now use the sine button. If you calculate an angle, you always press second first. So now I get that. See that? And then I do opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So that's 2.1 divided by 3.8. And then it tells me what the angle is. The angle is 33.5 degrees. So you have 33.5 degrees. So you see that it's not any more difficult than the tangent. It just uses two different sides. So if you take a look at angle A, the tangent uses the opposite side and the adjacent side. The sine uses the opposite side and the hypotenuse. And the third button that you're going to learn about later, that's the button here in the middle, right? That's going to use the adjacent side and the hypotenuse. So you can calculate B and C yourself, and then later with the answer book you can check if you did it correct. But you just have to do the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse, put it in the sine. I've got to write down the calculation here. Let me fix that for you. It's 2.1 divided by 3.8, and then you have the answer. Yeah, so this is what you need to do. Then we're going to go to a sort of a complicated question using this. Here we have a car of a roller coaster is dragged up a slope, BT, this is the slope, with a velocity of 2.8 meters per second, because it's going to be dragged up here, and then there's going to go down. And then, so we need to calculate this. We know that this point is 43 meters high, we know that this angle is 35 degrees, and we need to calculate how long does it take for the car to get from B to T in seconds, round off to one decimal place. So we need to calculate what that length is, right? So we already know that we have to use the sine, because we know the opposite side and we need to know the hypotenuse. So I'm going to write down the sine of 35 is the opposite side, 43, divided by the hypotenuse, which is length BT. So if I want to calculate BT, if you want to calculate a number at the bottom, you have to do divided by. So I do 43 divided by the sine of 35. So let's calculate what it is. Here I have the thing in the screen. So 43 divided by, and if you calculate the side, you just use the normal sine button, right? And the angle was 35. So this is, rounded off would be 75 meters. So here we have 75. This car of a roller coaster, it goes 2.8 meters per second. So if you want to know how many seconds it is, we need to do 75 divided by 2.8. Well, let me just type that in real quick, and then round it off to one decimal place, would be 26.8 seconds. And that is it. Alright, so this is the explanation for exercise 39. Hopefully it's clear to everyone, and if not, you can send me a message and ask me a question. Bye bye.